welcome back. So today we're going to focus on knife skills, all right? I'm going to introduce you to the most common knife used in the kitchen, the 8-inch chef knife, as well as two other knives I like to keep on hand, the paring knife and a serrated knife for some couple of other different tasks, all right? But if you have invested in a decent 8-inch chef knife, it really is all you need, okay? So today, let's focus on slice, chop, dice, mince, and then I'm even gonna throw in an extra one, a chiffonade, okay? So, grab your cutting board, your 8-inch chef knife, and a couple ingredients, and we'll get started. Okay, so for today's demonstration, I've got a carrot that I went ahead and just peeled. I have an onion, a potato that I just gave a quick rub and rinse, and then a tomato, quick rinse, and then I had a parsley, which we can also give a quick rinse, okay? So these are just some things that you can practice with. Some of these items are inexpensive, like the onion and the carrot and even potatoes in some areas. So definitely whenever you want to practice these skills, find one of those inexpensive items or something you know is on the menu for the night and just, yes, have at it, because obviously the more you practice, the better you're gonna be. And we're not looking for perfection here. We are just wanting to hone in on this skill, all right? So we have our 8-inch chef knife, and we need to remember our kitchen safety when it comes to knives, all right? So grab your knife, get a nice grip on it, okay? And then this finger here actually goes like this. If you've seen it done like this, no, all right? It goes here, so get comfortable, because what we're gonna be doing is a rocking motion, all right? So let's begin with slicing. All right, we're gonna just take, okay, so we have the carrot here and we've got these ends that we're gonna go ahead and trim off. Those are completely unusable. Okay, so the grip of the knife, just gonna flip it around here. And you don't wanna cut too far in because then you're being wasteful, all right? So a good rule when you're using the cutting board, just kind of have a spot for your product, your finished product, and your scrap, okay? Grab your knife, finger here, and this is a rocking motion. Now, in order to control the carrot, we're gonna have to use the claw, all right? So, when you grip the food, we don't want our fingers sticking out. We want them curled up under, okay? So curl them up under like this, and obviously every piece of food is different, all right? So get whatever grip you can, but remember to keep the claw, because what you want to happen is if your fingers get too close, it's this knuckly part, all right? It's not our sweet little fingers or nails sticking out, all right? So every piece, okay? So remember, even cuts, even cooking. So we're just gonna go for a little slice, okay? And really just what we're trying to do is get comfortable with that rocking motion. As we get to this thinner part of the carrot, you're gonna notice it's not as wide as the other part, right? Okay, so do these look the same? No, but obviously if we were to cut this part as thin as we did this part, it's gonna cook way faster, okay? So when we say even cuts, it doesn't always mean, okay, this is a 1/4 inch and this should be a 1/4 inch. No, we're gonna get a little thicker because again, we want that even cut, even cooking. All right, so I just want to take a minute and introduce you to the serrated knife. This knife is great for cutting through tomatoes and then also bread. So let's just see what we can do with the tomato. All right, so we're gonna cut away this part here. So again, grip your product, grip your knife, okay? And we're just gonna, this one you get to use a sawing motion, so we're just gonna saw back and forth, okay? And if you have a little bit of that left, you can use the tip of the knife to just kind of slowly and carefully grip that tomato really well. We're just gonna carve it out instead of wasting a whole lot more tomato. Okay. All right, so sliced tomato, same idea, all right? Get that claw grip on there. And with this serrated, it's a lot easier. To get beautiful slices. All right, so saw back and forth, keeping in mind that the more perpendicular your knife is to the cutting board, the more even slices you're gonna get, all right? Be careful moving your hand back. All right, when I get to this point, I just flip this bad boy over, okay? Remember, knives, if you're gonna move things on the cutting board, use the top, not the sharp end, okay? All right, so palm down, fingers fly. Palm down, fingers fly. And then, same idea, grab your knife. This time we're just slicing sideways, parallel to our cutting board, okay? And we got another slice out of that bad boy. All right, super careful here. Okay, beautiful. We could do thicker slices, and then I want to show you, go ahead and just do it real quick, how you can get a dice, all right? So thicker slices would be nice, and then same idea here. Just gonna kind of gauge what size of dice we want, all right? So I've stacked the tomato slices, I've cut them into strips of sorts, all right? And then I've turned them, kept them as stacked as possible, and repeat, okay? Now I've got some diced tomatoes to top salad, taco, if you like them American style. All right, voila, diced tomatoes. All right, we've got this beautiful bunch of parsley, and it typically comes in a bunch like this and then tied off. If yours is in a different fresh and it's not tied, just kind of gather it together to keep the stems lined up, because we're gonna cut about through here, and then we'll pick through some of the stems to clean it up for some usable, okay? So just a easy little chop there. All right, so lots of stems to pick through. We can do this quick, and a little stems in there isn't gonna hurt anyone. Okay. So we have some parsley. 8-inch knife, proper grip. Okay. Now, you really can just find any point to start and just tip down in a rocking motion. Sorry, my cutting board is sliding. I'll show you the trick for that. Okay, so I'm just practicing kind of a rocking motion. I'm putting the tip of the knife to the cutting board and then down. Okay, I came to class unprepared. So to keep your cutting board from slipping, just a damp washcloth underneath your cutting board. Okay, so again, just that chopping motion. All right, gather it back up, and then this is where I'm pinching and still rocking, but this time I have my fingers in different places. So with the chop, again, it's just rough, just breaking it down, no perfect size. All right. Okay, so we've got some chopped parsley. Now, we want to go a little thinner. We can bring it down to a mince. So let's say the recipe calls for minced parsley. All right, we're just gonna keep going. This time we'll keep our chops a little closer to one another, and then back and forth. Sometimes you need to bring your knife up a little bit to move it to a different area. Okay, pinch, fingers with the rock. All right, and I'll show you kind of the difference we have going on here. You see the big parts, just bring your knife up, find those parts, and down we go. Okay. All right, so you can see the difference here, minced versus just a chopped. So again, depending on what the recipe's asking for or the effect that you personally are going for, all right, you just keep chopping until you've worked it into small pieces of a mince. All right, great job. Next, I want us to work with the potato. All right, you can easily leave this unpeeled, especially for just practice, or if it's going into, say, a soup or a stew or roasted veggies, something super rustic. But I did want to go ahead and show you my paring knife. All right, and paring knives are great for peeling these as well. So I'm just gonna take the top off and then slowly, easily work my way around. Being super in control, guys, of the blade, because we are cutting towards ourselves. But today I just want to show you an example of how to square off a potato and how to work with it. Let's say you want to make some cute homemade French fries and you want them kind of that shoestring. All right, so the first thing we have to do is, because we're working with a potato and it's like this egg shape, we got to get us a flat surface. So hold that potato and make a straight cut here. And boom, we have a flat surface now that we can work with, all right? We're gonna go ahead and take a minute and just square it up a little bit on each side, all right? And I'm just rolling it back to the flat edge so it's safe and not wobbling. Beautiful. Okay. So, how we're gonna work with this is now we're gonna make, I don't know, about 1/2 inch. Okay, so 1/2 inch is straight down. Okay, remember to be careful. The knife loves to stick to the wet potato. Okay, another one. And I like to grab the last one like this, super careful. And down. Okay, so squared it off the best we could. We made some equal sizes. So let's just stack these back up. All right, and same idea. All right, going again for that 1/2 inch. Now, if we were gonna do something fancy like some French fries, we could stop there, okay? But let's say we need some nice, pretty little diced potatoes, okay? On what size you want will depend on how thick. So let's say we want to go a little bigger with our matchstick French fries. Okay, so we just cut a little farther apart. All right. Remember, practice makes better. All right, good job. Yellow onion here today that I'm going to show you. All right, so we've got the root here and then the end. And this is important for a reason, I'll tell you why. When we're working with the onion, we're gonna go ahead and we wanna leave the root intact, okay? So we're gonna slice off the end here. Nice, okay? And then peel back the layers till you get to just the flesh of the onion, okay? If you were slicing just like a tomato, again, hold it claw-like, decide how thin or thick you want it, and just push your knife through, okay? So then you have some nice thin rings of onion. All right, if you want a half slice, cut through this root, keeping it intact, okay? And again, pick your thickness. All right. Okay, so for the next part, I'm gonna grab the other end so we can start from the beginning here. The way we deal with an onion, if we're moving into a dice, all right, is we wanna take the knife tip in near the root, okay? But not through it. So pull it back a little bit. And then again, however big you want the dice, is how big you should cut. So we're gonna cut into it. I'm gonna go a little big here, okay? right? And as you get better at this, you can go faster. Once I get to the other side, I don't like how awkward it gets, so I kind of flip it around. All right, but same concept. Don't go through the root. Okay, now you can stop here and you can cut through and you have diced onion. All right, you can also make horizontal cuts. Being careful not to cut all the way through. And of course, be very careful where your fingers are. And then same concept. See that rocking motion? All right, and then now you have a slightly smaller diced onion. All right? So again, onions are pretty inexpensive and they're great to practice on. All right, remember that extra one I said I was gonna throw in? The chiffonade? All right, so typically, you're gonna see this used a lot with basil. So I have these fresh basil leaves and I'm just stacking them. Okay, pull off that little stem. Once I've stacked my leaves, okay, I'm just gonna roll them. Roll them tight like a little burrito. All right, hold them pinch tight like that. Grab your knife, okay, and just really thin. See that rocking motion? All right, I'm gonna tuck my fingers back. I am a huge fan of caprese, mozzarella, tomato, basil, balsamic. So a lovely sprinkle of basil chiffonade on top is so yum. And I wish you guys could smell this right now. Hopefully you have your basil on hand and you can make a lovely chiffonade and you can enjoy the fragrance too. Thank you guys for joining me today. I really appreciate the time that you spent with me and I hope that you found something useful here. All right, if you have any questions, as always, please do not hesitate to comment or send me a message, okay? Take care.